Good morning. Welcome to JP's Morning Brief for May 14th, 2026. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Brief. Hope everybody had a good evening. I went to church last night. Feel refreshed. Good night's rest. I'm ready to do this morning and get stuff going. We got a few items in the news. Um, the president's in China right now. I knew that. I just stating the obvious, right? So, welcome to the podcast this morning. Hope everyone's doing good. Click the follow button to follow the podcast, please. I just noticed this morning we're at 150 followers. Woohoo! Awesome. That is great news. It's been about a week since we got the 149. We got 150. Let's keep the ball rolling. Okay, let's not wait. Let's get at least one follower, new follower a day. That'd be awesome. And then click that like button for the podcast. That'd be great. Let's do great things. Have fun. The chat room is open. We have Kovite for Life in her. He beat me to the punch to the first chat this morning, which is great. Ricky's an awesome guy. We were talking computers yesterday afternoon. Um, he knows a lot about computers. Okay, so you got that all out of the way. Don't forget, follow and like, please, okay? America 250. No letters for the day. Woo-hoo. Okay, so this is what I have two items for America 250. One for this morning, one for the JP8 report. The one for this morning in Williamsburg, that's the colonial capital of Virginia. In Williamsburg, the Union Jack flag was lowered and was replaced by the Continental Union flag, the Betsy Ross flag. All right. So that was one of the things that happened the day in 1776. That was a big deal. That's like, uh, let's see, that's like lowering the um American flag, and we'll go back to Civil War days. That's like lowering the American flag in D.C. and then raising the Confederate flag in D.C. That's the ramifications. That was not accepted well amongst the British loyalists. Okay, but we did it anyway. All right, with the Continental Union flag. All right, so that was it. And then we have the armament shop. Whether you're looking for your first firearm, upgrading your setup, or need expert service, the armament shop is Copper's Cove's premier source for all things shooting. Browse a wide selection of pistols, rifles, and shotguns, backed by our top tier gunsmithing for repairs along with the reloading supplies and professional cleaning to keep your firearm in peak condition. Need a transfer? We make all FFL transfers fast, easy, and affordable. Need your CHL? Jason can handle those classes. He has over 3 decades of experience. Visit the armament shop today at 115A West Avenue D in Coppers Cove, or call or text at 254-560-2023. Or you can reach them at www.armamentshop.com. That's www.armamentshop.com. The Armament Shop, your safety, our priority. Alrighty, so that, and then get that set up. All right, so that's them. We have the Iran update. So what's coming on with Iran? Oh, Ricky, hey, you're still that good. Awesome. Good morning. I'll give Ricky a Texas flag, and I'm doing that because this day in 1836, treaties were exchanged in um, on the border between Texas and Mexico, recognizing Texas independence as a republic between, hold on, I'll tell you exactly who it was because I don't want to mess his name up. I think it was David Burnett. Um, okay, on May 14th, 1836, Texas's interim president David G. Burnett, that's where Burnett County is named after, signed two treaties at the town of Velasco with with Mexico's leader Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna, aka the private. Yeah, sure. Neither treaty was honored, though both paved the way for Texas independence as a sovereign republic. So David Burnett from Burnett County, just south of here, uh, was named after the first interim president of Texas, and he was quoted as saying the government should not be a master over the people, but a servant of the people, just like our U.S. Constitution is modeled after, right there. All right, so and it's pronounced Burnett, not Burnett. It's Burnett. All right. Uh, Iran update. Iran update is we're still under ceasefire um, under Project Freedom. Okay, so if y'all did not know, and I did not know till yesterday, um, and I've been wondering how in the world does Iran get away with redirecting traffic in the Strait of Hormuz? Um, and from what I learned yesterday was that they have been swarming these little 8 foot or 12 foot speedboats all over the Strait of Hormuz, harassing cargo traffic trying to get through, right? Yesterday, they swarmed over 300 boats into the Strait of Hormuz to, oh my goodness, I got a cat that's right outside the door. I got a fix for that. Um, Hopefully, within the next month, I'm gonna put a barn door up in our hallway. They'll never be in there again. All right, but so yesterday it was like 425 mini boats out there harassing traffic, trying to get tolls and trying to redirect them, and some of them even dropped mines. Right, that is what we're dealing with when it comes to securing the Strait of Hormuz. The I, I told my wife last night before I went to bed, uh, me myself, I would have put them at the bottom of the ocean. I mean, seriously, because it's a security threat to everyone going into the Strait of Hormuz. So yesterday the number was about 300 instead of 425. Uh, Houthis, they're the revolutionary group in Yemen. They're allied with Iran. They're warning of expanding the war. The UAE denies Israeli secret meeting. Um, Waltz, he's the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, condemns illegal mining by Iran. That's what I was just talking about with those speedboats. The Iran Foreign Minister Aragachi warns any nation colluding with Israel, and that would be going back to the UAE denying any type of Israeli secret meetings, right? They still fear Iran. Uh, then Iran's opposition, there was an Iranian opposition camp near Erbil. It was hit by two drones yesterday. Erbil is inside of Iraq. Uh, Two Hamas militants were killed along with the commander of the 7th of October operation. And then Vance, that would be Vice President Vance, says progress is being made with sensitive diplomatic meetings with Iran. Brent crude oil is trading at $106.42 a barrel. West Texas Intermediate is trading at $101.63 a barrel. And yesterday, the Dow Jones closed minus 67.36 at 49,693.20. All right. As I was telling y'all, the president is in China right now. Not a lot has come out of this summit. Uh, There is really tight-lipped right now. They're in a state dinner. The president just arrived for the state dinner. It was him and Xi Jinping was together. The only two things I've heard this morning before I came in here, I just wrote it down, was Xi Jinping says Taiwan is the greatest risk in relations with the United States, and then the president invited Xi Jinping to Washington D.C. Later this year. All right, so those are the two things that is that came out of this meeting so far. All right, so onward to the JPA report. Well, that is part of the JPA report. Okay, so and I don't expect retired Rob 53 to be in the chat this morning. He is up in Watertown, Fort Drum, visiting his kids and stuff. Um, and they flew in yesterday, and they're supposed to be driving, I believe, today going toward Ohio. So hopefully he gets to listen to the JPA report this afternoon. All right, so okay, where am I? Oh yeah, before I get to that, yesterday the governors of Georgia and South Carolina signed special sessions to bring their legislatures back in for redistricting. Georgia, they're looking at doing a redistricting, but it only applies in the 2028 um, election cycle because they've already had their primary for this midterm, and in South Carolina, uh, General McMaster's he saw the writing on the wall. I guess he was listening to Congresswoman Nancy Mace, um, but he played right into her playbook about when to call it and everything. But he called them back in to session. Uh, as soon as uh, as soon as their legislative session ended yesterday at like 5:01 p.m. Eastern, uh, he issued a proclamation. Said, "Hey, you're coming on back." Uh, so I don't know if that redistricting is going to apply to 2026 or 2028, but yeah, they're coming back on Monday and going back to work. All right, don't screw around, man. I named those five senators yesterday. Huh. Uh, I mean business. Scott Presler means business. I mean business. The president, who's the most important person in this conversation, he means business also. All right. So the Senate yesterday confirmed Kevin Warsh as the next Federal Reserve Chairman. The day prior, he was instituted on the Board of Governors for a 14-year term. As chair of the Federal Reserve, he serves as it's like being a school board president. You have here in Copperas Cove, we have 7 members on our school board, and they elect one to be the president of the board. Same thing here, right? But this one had to be approved by the United States Senate. Uh, and then Jerome Powell, he doesn't play well with toys. He said he's staying on board for 2 more years to complete his term as on the Federal Reserve Board of Governors. Tradition is when you leave the chairmanship, you resign your seat and you leave. As of right now, he's planning to stay. Right, he wants to be a thorn in the side of the president. But Kevin Warsh was confirmed as the Federal Reserve Chair yesterday. The vote was 54-45, which was you can consider bipartisan because there's only 53 Republicans. Matter of fact, there's only 99 votes in that one. Let's see. The Senate cleared Kevin Warsh on Wednesday to lead the Federal Reserve Chair, uh, ushering in a new era at the central bank under President Donald Trump's nominee. Matter of fact, even though we don't get along with Mr. I don't play well with toys, Jerome Powell, President Trump also nominated him to be the Federal Reserve Chair in his first term, but this guy turned out to be an utter failure. The Senate confirmed Warsh 54-45, concluding a month-long search that began last summer for a successor to the Federal Reserve uh, Chairman Jerome Powell as his term neared an end. So you can serve as Federal Reserve Chair for 5 years. You can be renominated and confirmed and serve an additional 5 years. And after that, you can't be the chair anymore. All right. Uh, the vote was largely along party lines, with only Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman crossing over in support. Who was the one senator that didn't vote? That's what I'd like to know. Earlier in the week, Warsh was confirmed by the Board of Governors for a 14-year appointment, required in a required step before serving as chair. Just mention that. He previously served on the board as its youngest member at age 35, and now returns to lead the central bank at a pivotal moment. Although the Federal Reserve operates largely out of the public view, its decisions shape borrowing costs, job growth, and interest rates for millions of Americans, making Warsh's confirmation a pivotal moment for how the influence will be wielded. Warsh, a lawyer and financier, steps into a role at a particular volatile time. The central bank is grappling with persistent inflation, the economy, fallout from the war, and a looming Supreme Court decision involving federal governor Lisa Cook. Oh, I forgot all about her. Uh, while political pressure builds ahead of the midterm elections in November. So by the end of June, it would be the last of the last of the Supreme Court rulings will be coming out. Lisa Cook, she got fired by President Trump off the Federal Reserve, but she challenged it in court and it got appealed to the Supreme Court. So they're waiting on that. So he may have um, another replacement already. All right. So congratulations to Kevin Warsh. I'm sorry, on your selection to be the next Federal Reserve Chair. All right. Next, this guy. Let's go over here. I like this one better. All right. So yesterday, retiring acting ICE director Todd Lyons announced that the federal investigators have uncovered more than 10,000 foreign students connected to suspected employers as part of another potentially massive fraud scheme, this time involving federal STEM uh, optional practical training extension program. Okay, I did not know anything about this until I was reading about this last night. I thought it would be good to bring it to y'all. Uh, so, OPT is a U.S. immigration program that lets international students on F1 visas work temporarily in the United States in jobs related to their field of study, like STEM, science, technology, uh, engineering, and mathematics. Uh, Lyons said when the program was first created under the Bush administration and expanded under the Obama administration, the Department of Homeland Security expected only a few thousand foreign students to receive training approval before returning home. Instead, uh, Lyons said OPT ballooned into an uncontrolled guest worker pipeline with hundreds of thousands of foreign students working in the United States. And he said also, as the program size exploded, so has the fraud. Okay, so today we are announcing we have identified over 10,000 foreign students who claim to be working for highly suspect employers, and that's just among the top 25 OPT employers. This is only the tip of the iceberg. We have dramatically expanded our oversight of OPT so that we can report fraud nationwide. According to Homeland Security investigators, officers have visited problematic OPT work sites in Virginia, Texas, Georgia, Illinois, New York, New Jersey, North Carolina, and Florida. See, there's a flux of both red and blue states in this. He said that many of the suspicious employers include non-governmental organizations, and according to Lyons, investigators have discovered empty buildings and locked doors at addresses where hundreds of foreign students are allegedly employed. And investigators also found hundreds of foreign students listed as working out of residential addresses, just like the Learning Center. Hey, you're at work, but nobody's home. This is unbelievable. They call them ghost or phantom employees. They're getting paid to do all this, but they're not actually at work. What are they doing, right? Very suspect. Now we have another one. John Fetterman. He's the one that just voted for Kevin Warsh to be the next Federal Reserve Chair. This guy's making enemies big time in the Democrat Party. All right. Senator John Fetterman, called out several rising Democrat stars on Wednesday as outright socialists or communists in the party's effort to cater to a fringe base. I think the extremism is driving it out without a doubt, Fetterman said in a recent interview. Look at the primaries, all across the Senate and House, and look at all the kinds of people that have already been elected. Like, for example, the mayor in Seattle. She's an absolute socialist. If not more, how people go, hey, I'm leaving, and she's like, bye, and just describe the thing, that kind of thing. Man, I'm talking like him. Let me try that again. Like, for example, the mayor of Seattle. She's an absolute socialist. If not more, how people go, hey, I'm leaving, and she's like, bye, and just describe that kind of thing. Fetterman was referring to Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson, who last month laughed off the idea of millionaires leaving the state based on her support of a progressive tax. I think the claims that millionaires are going to leave our state are like overblown, and if that one leaves, like bye, Wilson remarked in an audience at Seattle University. Fetterman then moved on to target New York City Zohran Mamdani, who recently proposed a pied-à-terre tax on luxury second homes owned by wealthy city residents. Then, of course, New York, he says, that's its own situation. And I thought Governor Ron DeSantis had a great line saying, Mamdani is our favorite real estate agent now, and it's driving people away. People can move, and they can just vote, with their feet, Fetterman said. And it just keeps going on. And another one was Mr. Oysterman. He is no fan of Graham Plattner. He said, in Maine, for example, Graham Plattner, he is an avowed communist. He described himself as a communist. Antifa, that's not a slur from me. That's not a GPO kind of hit. That's his own words. How he described that, Fetterman said, you know, I have no idea why this, they already got Dave McCormick as a Republican in Pennsylvania. I don't know why this guy does not self describe as an independent and lead the Democrat Party, or just flat out just cross party lines and become a Republican. I'm sure. I mean, look, we got people like Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins and who's the other? And we got people like that are very, very moderate Republicans, but they're still Republicans. And I, people. Okay, we'll put it like this: here in Texas, back in the '80s. I know not everyone can remember the '80s, but we had a U.S. senator named Phil Gramm, right, a Democrat, and he went. He was the last, I believe, the last. No, Lloyd Benson was the last. He was the second to the last Democrat senator in the state of Texas. Okay, he crossed party lines and registered as a Republican. And then people like condemned him, said, "You signed your death warrant. You're not going to get elected. You're done." He put himself up for election on the next senatorial election cycle and paid for the election and ran as a Republican and got elected. It can happen. He just got to have a little bit of gall. He called these people out. He can do it, and I'm sure the next majority leader in the Senate, because it ain't going to be John Thune, uh, will allow him to wear his Carhartt sweatshirt as long as he votes Republican. All right. All right. What are we doing on time? It's 6:57. So we'll have to go back and do stuff over again. Don't forget, early voting in the Texas runoff is the 18th. That'll be next week. The 18th to the 22nd of May. And all voting days on the early vote are 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. Uh, the the runoff day is May 26th from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. If you're in Coryell County, Texas, if you're in George, if you're we have countywide voting here in Coryell County. You can vote at Gatesville Civic Center or the Early Voting Center in Gatesville, or you can come down to Coppers Cove, go to the Early Vote Center there, and then vote, or vote at the Civic Center, and then on election days, the same two places in both in Coryell County. All right, and then we have. Um, oh yeah, so the ones I'm supporting for the runoff here in Texas is for the U.S. Senate, Ken Paxton; for Texas Attorney General, Mays Middleton; for Texas um, Railroad Commission, Bo French; and for Coryell County Judge, Rob Irwin. All right, and then we have what time we got here? I'm not, I'm not going to do a rate today. I've already, I already met my requirements for the month. So we have also on the 28th of May, which is 2 weeks from the day, we have Pikes and Politics in in Gatesville. I'm sorry, in Gatesville at Ranchers at 6 p.m. With Chip Howe. I'll be there for what it looks like. All right. Okay, let me go off that one. The state convention for the Republican Party is going to be June 11th through June 13th. Hopefully, we'll be celebrating Ken Paxton as the next nominee for the U.S. Senate. And then we'll find out by the 13th who the next GOP leader for the Republican Party of Texas will be, because there's a couple of people running for the chair. All right. And then that is it for the morning report. I didn't get to cover everything. A couple other stuff I didn't get to check was about the whistleblower testimony yesterday, and then I didn't get to do the uh, another day about Virginia redistricting. They didn't do stuff right under petition to the Supreme Court, and Tulsi Gabbard is giving intel to Congress about um, election fraud that she uncovered for the 2020 or 2024 election. And then California is definitely leaning to electing the first California Republican governor since 2011. So that and more. So I'm going to sign off for this morning and go get some breakfast. Or I got to wake up my wife. Man, I forgot about that. Our dogs are going to get their nails trimmed this morning in about an hour. So I got to get involved in that. All right. So, and then prayer request. My daughter I know she's sound asleep right now. My daughter's got a job interview on Saturday with Third Force Schools. It's a charter school that's coming to the Killeen area, and she's got an interview with them on Saturday morning. So, all right. And then how do y'all like my backdrop? I got it stable. I figured it out. All right. That's cool. All right. So I will see everybody at noon with noon central with the JPA report. Have a good morning. Go eat some breakfast while I get going and get prepared. All right. So this is James Pierce. I will catch you on the flip side. I'm out.